How can one work to believe in God? And what does memory have to do with that? Some people believe in God all their lives. Other people once did, but now struggle with it. And some people, it has escaped them for all their lives. And yet the Torah tells us in the first of the 10 Commandments, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am the Lord your God, which Rambam understands to be a mitzvah to believe that God exists. So what's someone supposed to do? We can work to try to cultivate that belief, but for some that would be really a non-starter or extremely difficult. The first key is recognizing that not everyone agrees with Rambam, that is not necessarily a mitzvah. They're not called the 10 mitzvot, but Aseret HaDvarim, the 10 declarations. And that's not articulated as you must, as a commandment. It's just a statement. And it's a statement, though, that even if not a commandment, and here's the challenge, still underpins everything that follows. All of the commandments only make sense when you accept that God exists. A life of Torah and mitzvot are based on that assumption. So we're still left with the question, what to do for somebody who struggles with that belief. And the key is to recognize that in the Torah, emunah, the idea of belief, is not the Maimonidean intellectual, philosophical, to believe that, to assert the truth of some statement, the truth that God exists, that God took us out of Egypt. Emunah is belief in, comes from the word omein, to raise, to be a nursemaid, to cultivate. It's about a relationship. Vaya'aminu b'Hashem u'v'Moshe avdo, it says at the splitting of the sea. They believed in God and in Moshe, not some statement about Moshe, but that Moshe was there for them, would always be there for them. They could put their trust in Moshe. It's about faith more than it is about belief. And once we realize that, there's a way to get there. Even as people question and struggle, do I really think God exists? What do I believe happened historically? Because it's about creating a relationship. And the mitzvah in the Torah about the Exodus, that I took you out of Egypt, and about Har Sinai, is not to state it, but to remember. Zachor, remember the day you came out of Egypt. Remember the day you stood at Har Sinai. Now, how do we remember something we didn't experience? So there's mitzvahs of memory. Every day we say God took us out of Egypt. We have the Seder where we relive that experience. We cultivate and create and imagine that reality, and it becomes a national memory, even if for those who question whether they can assert the truth statement of that. But if that becomes our mindset, and that is what we do to cultivate memory, then that will affect our whole way of looking at the world, and it'll allow us to achieve a belief in, even if we struggle with a belief that. That is the mitzvah. Remember the day that you stood at Har Sinai. Believe in God. Put your faith in God. Shabbat Shalom.